Hello, Muscatine, and welcome to Muscatine in Focus. Today we have two segments. We have the school district. We have Tony Tone talking about updates with the school year coming up, and then we also have Council Connection with Angela Lewis talking about some updates on roads in Muscatine. So we look forward to having you guys watch the show. Well, today we have Tony Tone right here from the Muscatine School District. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's nice to be on this side of things where you're the host and I'm just the guest. So if I don't do a good job, that's maybe I don't get to come back. So I hope I get to come back.
And I'm just nervous because this is Tony Tone. So, by the way, how did you get Tony Tone?
Yeah, for sure. So
everybody wants to know.
My name, I guess my legal first name is Anthony. And it's funny because my wife and my mom are the only people that call me that, which is great. But growing up, my uncle, Bob, called me Tone. So I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, Elmwood Park and then Oak Park, Illinois. And Uncle Bob was and still is an undertaker. So he has this incredible job. He's always going to have a job because unfortunately people are dying all the time. But so he's an undertaker and he used to call me Tone. So when I got hired immediately from graduating college at St. Ambrose at B100 radio station in Davenport, we were trying to figure out what to use because Loconsole, which is my legal last name, isn't really a cool radio name. So I was just spitballing. I was like, well, I've gone by Tony, and then my uncle used to call me Tone, so Tony Tone. And Uncle Bob loves whenever I give him shout outs. At one point, I think in 1994, he was voted the best dressed undertaker. And he had that article framed at his house. So I'll make sure that he sees this. So that's the background. And there's people that don't know that my name is Anthony. There's people that have never heard my real last name. And I'm okay with that. I've always had nicknames.
See what happens when you watch Muscatine in Focus? You get the inside information with Tony Tone.
That's a Muscatine in Focus exclusive.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the school district. So,
you
know, school's approaching. So can you talk to us about the calendar?
Yeah, it's going to be busy. So once August starts, Mayor Bark, it gets really busy in the school business. So we're really looking at, for the Muscatine Community School District, it's that week of August 22nd. And things really take off the 23rd on. Okay. There's different back to school times for preschool, elementary, middle school, high school. I love that we have new Muskie Day that gives an opportunity for your 7th graders and then your 9th graders to kind of get acclimated to a new building.
Yeah.
Right? So your incoming 7th graders are going to be experiencing Susan Clark Junior High for the first time. It's a bigger building. And then those incoming freshmen at the high school, I mean, you can probably remember that first day of high school. I had that fish out of water going to a giant public high school, shout out Oak Park River Forest. You know, I remember walking around going, they expect me to get to class? How? This building is huge. And then by the time you're a sophomore or even later freshman year, you kind of figure it out. But I appreciate that because we didn't have that when I was growing up. We didn't have new, and we were the Huskies. We didn't have new Husky Day. So we have new Muskie Day. So that'll be good.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, and I remember my first day going into high school, 9th grade. It was a new building for me too, but my dad was the high school principal too. So I had to find the hiding spots.
Wait, so did you get sent, were they like, go see your dad, or were they like, you're going, not that you ever got sent to the principal's office, because I'm sure.
I was an angel.
Yeah, that's right. But would they say like, go see, was it dad or was it Principal Bark?
It was Principal Bark. Wow. Yeah, so, and that's just the way it was.
That
and
is
if I got
wild.
cold, it was like, oh boy, what I do now, so.
Yeah, I can't imagine. But no, we're just really excited. I think, you know, summer goes by quick, as we all know. Yeah. Folks like myself and in our administration office and other positions work year round, but teachers have been getting back into classrooms and getting things prepared, and we're ready for a great school year. And I hope, obviously we can't control the weather, but we hope that things get off to a good start weather-wise and that everybody can get back into the swing. The thing that I would mention to folks, because I totally am victim of this, when school's out, I think we take for granted how easy it is to get around town. So just be patient if you're like, oh my gosh, there's traffic again at 7:30 in the morning. Like, it'll catch me by surprise. Sure. But I would just say for everybody watching, understand that, you know, there's a lot of moving parts between buses and then, you know, parents and families and guardians getting students to where they need to be.
And not only that, but there's streets that are getting finished too, which is wonderful. So
Right.
all good stuff happening.
Yes, absolutely.
So, when you go to school, you have to get all the supplies, and I know that you guys have a supply list that you...
Yeah, so what's really exciting is for the 4th year in a row, the school district is providing the majority of supplies for all students.
That's great.
So this is not something that happens at all school districts. We have allocated or budgeted around $70,000 to $77,000 to do this. And the reasoning is it takes a lot of burden off of our families. And we also want kids to be able to start the school year with the things that they need. And the reality is that if we didn't provide the supplies, there's a lot of our students that wouldn't show up with pens, pencils, paper, markers, crayons, things that you might take for granted if you're not in that position. So for the district to be able to do this now 4 years is a big deal. There are a few things that we're not providing backpacks, but there are community resources available should you need that. United Way has been holding supply drives, Community Action of Eastern Iowa. We have private businesses that have reached out asking for things that we would need. And just because we're providing the majority of the supplies, we still encourage folks to donate school supplies. You would be surprised what our principals have said they could use. They could use backup clothes in the elementary. Because there will be kids that will show up that say something happens that day, they might not have a backup pair of pajamas or shorts.
Sure.
Gloves are always a hot commodity during the winter. Yeah. And I'll just mention, because they reached out, I had a friend from All Steel reach out and say, hey, what does the district need? But specifically, what would teachers like to see for their classrooms? So I reached out to the principals, and we got a couple of great ideas, and they're going to probably put some things together.
What was your favorite item to go buy when you were a little kid? Mine was crayons, and the crayon had to have the little crayon sharpener thing.
Yeah.
Coolest thing ever.
Right. It was on the back of the box?
It was on the back center of the box. Really
Are we
cool.
dating ourselves? That's still a thing, right?
Chad, that's probably your favorite thing, too.
There's still crayons, right? I like the Trapper Keepers.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I'm 38, so back in, the...
38 also.
Okay, so in the 90s, Trapper Keepers were cool. And I could be wrong, Mayor Bark, but I think there has been a resurgence of 90s stuff, from Trapper Keepers to 90s jeans, things I never thought we would see again.
Right.
So I don't have a Trapper Keeper right now, but I'm inclined to go get one.
They have those business folios too. So it's like a Trapper Keeper too, and I have one.
Yes.
Brings me back to my old days.
Wait, do you call it a business folio though? And does it have a Packers logo on it? Because I assume you're a Packers fan,
Of
right?
course I am. It should have a
Too
Packers
bad.
logo.
It's too bad. I'm a Bears fan, so.
Oh no.
We
won't get into that.
I was going to say, well, your team will be better than mine. But yeah, so school supplies, I still get asked every day, what's the school supply list? I have a graphic. It's out there. If anybody watching this has questions about it, reach out to me. If you're watching and you want to donate stuff, we would love to accept your generosity.
Yeah, and I know during the summertime there was the Muskie Spark program too.
Yeah.
Can you talk about a recap of that? Because
Yes.
I know we presented that and kind of updated the council too at that point as well.
Yeah.
But please touch on that.
So Muskie Spark was a tremendous success for the 2nd year. Spark stands for Summer Program for Arts, Recreation, and Knowledge. It was held at Jefferson Elementary School. It was a free program for kindergarten through 6th grade students. I believe the number of total students was right around 385 when it was all said and done.
Wow, that's great.
And they spent time in the classroom, learning stuff, working on math, reading, writing, and then the afternoons were full of enrichment. So that's where you had, and I have to give a huge shout out and a thanks to Kim Warren with Aligned Impact Muscatine County. She created, along with our principals, Dr. Candy Steele and Corey Spees, this unbelievable schedule and brought in all these community partners, Muscatine Power and Water, Stanley Consultants, Stanley Center for Peace and Security, the fire department, county board of, I don't want to leave anybody out, but each day students had an opportunity in the afternoon to do things maybe they never had done before, to learn hands-on, to go row a canoe. So Spark is a great program, and I'm happy to share another exclusive, if you will,
That's all right.
on Muscatine in Focus, that Spark will be back summer of 2023, totally free for our families. The district very wisely allocated some of those COVID ESSER funds from the federal government to offset the cost of the programming.
Okay.
And I'm excited to see the data that we'll be able to monitor from the students that attended Spark and then start the school year. Because the ultimate goal is to make sure that there's not a lot of learning loss in between when school ends and then it begins.
Sure.
So, and I would like to also say next summer, if you want to come to Spark.
That'd be fun.
And I'm not gonna we're not gonna have a water balloon fight or anything. Like, you've read to kids before. It wouldn't be. I just want people to know, like, I don't have ulterior motives. Like, what if the mayor comes in and it's a shaving cream fight? No, it's not going to be that. He can talk about the chamber, he can talk about Roll as the mayor.
Or we could eat a pie like we did previously, right? That was wonderful. That's good.
We did judge pies at
Yes,
Grant
we did.
Elementary. We're probably the best pie judges
100%.
ever. Some people
Absolutely.
would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with school coming up, there's
Sure.
registration.
Yeah.
How's that all?
It's going well. As we're sitting here today, we've still got a good amount of students that need to complete the returning student registration. If you have a student going into kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, you can jump online, update the information. Everybody has to do it, and ideally we would like it to be done before school starts so that we know for sure we've got X amount of first graders that'll be with us, second graders. We're more than happy to help. If folks have issues accessing technology, you can call your student's school, and our great team of secretaries can invite you in and get you signed up. We're even doing some community outreach and working on an event with the Muscatine Community Y in their conference room to have some folks with computers to bring in additional folks that may need help getting registered. But yeah, if you're watching and if it's you or a grandkid, if they're K through 12, just make sure that returning student registration is done. My wife and I did it from our phones. Pretty easy to log in and do.
Okay.
So,
What
yeah.
new some of the new administrators that are coming in?
Yes.
Touch on them?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, you
So
bet.
we've got we've got a new principal in Muscatine at McKinley Elementary School. So that's Tammy Turner. She's wonderful. She comes to us from the Linn-Mar School District. Tammy also spent time in Burlington. She is first-time principal. What I love about Tammy's story, Mayor Bark, is that she started as a para-educator helping out in the classroom and then continued on in her own education and is now a principal. And that is proof. Isn't that feels, and I know her and her family just got here, but that feels like a Muscatine story. Like, I think about people that start in a position, have aspirations, work hard, stay with it, pursue what they need to get to the place that they want to be. I'm going to give another shout out to my wife's uncle, Scott Mills. His story is very similar. Started on the line at All Steel, put himself through school here at MCC where we're at, and then retired from Hahn as the vice president of safety. So it's just proof that you can do more than you may think, and we're really excited to have Principal Tammy Turner at McKinley. And then at the high school, Muscatine High School's newest administrator and our activities director. So activities director and assistant principal Mike Henson. Great guy. Mike and his family, just like Tammy and her family, here in Muscatine now. I think Mike is just, maybe as this is being broadcast, is unpacking. I think he was closing on his house. He is from the DeWitt area originally. His wife has some really strong ties in Muscatine. Shout out to the Salt family. And we're happy to have Mike. I've spent quite a bit of time with him, and there's a lot. You know, he came to us as the Muskie girls were at the state softball tournament. So
Yeah,
he
that's
hit
awesome.
the job running, and he did a great job. And we're looking forward to both of them getting off to a good start this school year.
That's great. That's great. Any other items you'd like to touch on with your audience?
Yeah, definitely. So a couple of things. I'll mention one more work thing. Speaking of new staff, we'll welcome, I believe it's around 50 or 60 new teachers to the Muscatine Community School District. Some of these could be brand new teachers. Some are folks that are coming to the district that saw a job opening that they liked. And what I'm excited about is that a lot of these folks are going to now call Muscatine their home.
That's great.
And we need that. So we'll have coming up on August 15th and 16th, those new staff members will be with us at the administration building on Mulberry. And we're going to do a lot of things. We're going to get them all, connected to the Muscatine Community School District. We're going to take, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to mention this, but we're going to take 2 buses on like a field trip and take them through Muscatine. We're going to take them, show them all the amenities, We might drive by the chamber and see if anybody would jump outside and wave hello. Not that you would have to, but maybe Hannah and everybody. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to make them feel good. I'm working on a video to show them as well. So we're excited to get them here. And then if you're going to let me plug 2 things.
Please.
Okay. These are good things, I promise. All right. So the Muscatine Center for Social Action's domestic violence shelter is a place that I care a lot about, and I've helped raise some money on a couple fundraising committees. We're having a trivia night Saturday, August 27th at Geneva Golf and Country Club, fundraiser for the shelter. That's going to be a good event. You can still get a table, put a team together, a lot of fun trivia. I think one of the categories will either be about Muscatine or MCSA. So it should just be a great night. The domestic violence shelter has had a hard time generating funds the last couple of years, but we're getting back on track. We'll also be having our annual New Beginnings fundraiser in April, the first Saturday in April 2023, also at Geneva. Really great event. Yeah. Like, that's one that if you're watching, I would love to see you at, because they're saving lives. And yeah, so I'll be emceeing trivia night, and I know just as well as you do, and Chad knows, people in Muscatine like to play trivia. There are some teams that show up and they're like, we're the best at trivia. I'll say this is a fundraiser, so you can come in and you can get all the questions right. That's awesome, but we also want you to have a good time and understand that we're raising money for a good cause. Because I've been to some trivia nights where the teams are like, that answer that they gave is wrong, and that happens sometimes, but we're gonna everybody's gonna have a good time on the 27th. And we scheduled it, we were very purposeful. You know, there's no home Hawkeye game that day, because we know in this part of the state, if you schedule things against Hawkeye games, you're not gonna draw well. So we would love to see you. Contact MCSA for more. And then the last thing I just want to say is that August is a special month for my family and I. This marks 10 years living in Muscatine, which is crazy because it feels like it was yesterday. Muscatine's my wife's hometown, so she went to Muscatine High School, and then when we got together in 2009, we lived together in Rock Island in a couple different places, and then August 2012, moved to Muscatine. And what's funny is that people told me, you're gonna get stuck in the small town bubble. And I said, no, I won't. And I'm here to say, this is the best bubble ever. Yep. This is a tremendous bubble. I love Muscatine. I genuinely mean that. Like, I think in my 10 years, and I know you've been here a little bit longer.
Since 2007.
Wow.
15 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Both of us have seen a lot of changes.
A lot of good changes,
yes,
absolutely.
And a lot of growth and a lot of collaboration. And what really excites me over the last, I would say, 2 years, it really feels like all of these various entities, whether it be the city, the school district, county, board of supervisors, corporations, individuals, there just seems to be a lot of collaboration going on. And everybody's focused on a couple big picture items. How can we get more houses? How can we get more people here?
Right, and that meeting we had up at the top of the Merrill, remember that? Wasn't that
was
cool?
great.
It was
Yes.
the school district, it was the city, and it was the county. Everybody talking about how can we work together, perception of Muscatine as a whole, and a lot of good things that came out of that meeting as well. And we have one coming up at the end of this month as well, so stay
I'm
tuned,
excited.
everybody.
I think, are we hosting the one in September as well? I think it's going to be in the newly renovated, just opened student center at the high school.
All right.
That's our tentative idea. Again, that's a Muscatine in Focus exclusive.
Don't tell anybody.
We're breaking a lot of news on your show today. I hope that's
Three
okay.
huge items, absolutely. It's Tony Tone.
I appreciate you having me here, and we're ready for a great start to a successful school year and all that comes along with it.
Well, I appreciate everything you
thank
do,
you, sir.
and 10 years, that's
10
great.
years, wow. And the best part is I haven't aged, but a lot. So I see more gray hairs than the old beard, and I'm like, I earned those.
I just think it's pretty cool that you're 38 years old as well.
Yes.
It's cool.
38. 38's the new 25, right?
Absolutely it is. You bet it is. Well, thank you so much for
pleasure.
being on the show.
Thank you.
Next we have Angie Lewis talking about streets and other updates in our city. So thank you so much.
Hi, this is Angie Lewis, Councilwoman at Large for Muscatine. Just wanted to kind of give you some updates about what's going on in our great city. First of all, I want you to know right now I am standing on the intersection of 8th Street and Lucas, And I can tell you this afternoon, I actually got home from work, drove all the way from the bottom of the hill of 8th Street, all the way up 8th Street, down 8th Street, and got onto Grandview Avenue, took a right on Grandview Avenue. Little rough where the railroad tracks are, and that's because that part of it has to be finished by the railroads themselves. And was able to drive all the way down to the bypass. It was a beautiful, wonderful drive. The road is smooth and slick. Want to give shout out to Public Works for doing such a great job. I want to let you know there's still going to be some work going on down there, as they've got sidewalks they're still putting in. They're doing the finishing touches on some signages that'll be going on, and let you know they'll still be doing some work down there, but you can get in and out of Muscatine coming in off of the bypass off of Grandview Avenue now. It is beautiful. Thank you so much, Public Works, for getting that done in a timely manner. Also wanted to give a big shout out. There was a big event down at the Rose Bowl this weekend with No Breaks, No Baffles. Did a charity regarding, our fundraiser regarding Children's Hospital up in Iowa City, and it was a big success. But that couldn't have happened if Public Works hadn't actually got out there and was able to get those roads cleared off so the bikers could come in. So thank you so much for doing that. I truly appreciate it. Also went down to Taylor Park, and boy, those pickleball courts look wonderful. They still don't have the nets up, but they'll be coming, I've been told. Park is coming along wonderfully. I'm so excited for that to be finished as well, to give another area where kids can go and play on a splash pad and have some pickleball courts and some fun things going on down there as well. If there's anything you'd like to see from my standpoint from being on the Focus, don't hesitate to call the mayor or call myself. Let me know what you'd like to know about, what you'd like to see, and I'd be more than happy to do that. So have a great day, Muscatine, and let's continue to grow.
Angie, thank you so much for sharing everything on streets. I appreciate everything you do for the city. Oh, come on in.
Oh, hey, Mayor Bark.
Oh, hey, welcome back, Tony. Thank you so
Thanks.
much for coming.
I guess I got lost. It's cool that we're doing the show on location at Muscatine Community College, and Little Shop of Horrors is coming up, but I think I got lost on the set. I can't wait to see this show. The movie was so good. And
the show is coming up Friday, August 5th, Saturday, August 6th, and Sunday, August 7th. So make sure you get your tickets. And thanks again for watching Muscatine in Focus. Remember, be your best, and we'll see you next time.